Alright guys, we got a 2013 Chevy Malibu LTZ here. Doing a wheel hub assembly on the back. This is the passenger side rear. And if you ever had to remove these, you know, they can be a real bear, especially when this whole housing is aluminum. You got the steel wheel hub assembly, you know what happens. They just love to get stuck, they fuse together. So you can see I already got this one pulled apart. I didn't want to pull it apart all the way. I want to show you what I did here. Okay, so this upper control arm, it has a bolt that runs through it. You can see it goes through the housing here. I just disconnected it and I ran my ratcheting tie down on here just to pull it out of the way, because there's 3 bolts that hold this wheel hub assembly in. You can see this top one's here, one at the bottom here, and the other one's right over here, but I'm not going to show you all that. This is mainly on how I press these out. But here's the 3 bolts that went in the back. So I got them out. Like I said, I pulled this out of the way because it gives you a little more room. Also, this sway bar, you got this link here. I just disconnected it from the back, swung it down out of the way, and that just gives you a little more room back here to get a wrench in there so you can get those 3 bolts out. It's just a lot of weird stuff in the way. This kind of gets in the way of the wrench, and this gets in the way. I can get a little better view back there. You can see it's kind of tough to get back there, but I was able to get it with this here. Got this flex head, got this. I use this 18 with the flex. I was able to get it up in there like this, work my way around all this stuff. Kind of a pain. About 20 minutes you'll get them out, maybe 15. But once you get that all done, you don't have to worry about the ABS wheel speed sensor wire. It's actually, you can't see it too good. It's right here. This sensor actually sits back behind the wheel hub where it senses. So some of them, if you pull out the wheel hub assembly, that goes down in there, you'll damage it. But on this one, don't even worry about that wheel speed sensor. It's nowhere in range where to get damaged. You can just pull this, get it out of there, comes right out. So all you do is take this upper suspension bolt out. As you can see, it's right here. There's a nut that fits on the back side of it, but it doesn't work here because of this shoulder on here. It hits and you don't get a straight shot. If I can kind of show you here, with this shoulder here, it sets a little too high. I tried it this way too and it kind of didn't work. So I just happened to find a nut laying around that was perfect thread pitch for this bolt. And then I found a little piece of steel so I don't dig into this backing plate. And also back here, it's hard to see, but there's a little bit of a gap. And this piece of flat stock here, I guess this is 3/16. I was able to run it back behind, directly behind there, and it just happens to sit just right so that I'm not pushing this backing plate in and damaging. I'm trying to prevent too much damage. You'll get a little, but it's not bad. All I did is put my impact on here. This is a 22 millimeter. And you just start going. And let's see if I can try doing it. I had to hold that nut with a wrench initially, but let's see if I can hit this and get it to remove here. See what happens. There it comes. Came right out, guys. That's how you do it. All right. So you can see here, this works wonderful. That suspension bolt. You can see it's pretty long, but you can see it just really gets all corroded, and it just like feels like the dang thing's been welded on there. It fits so tight, but man, I'm telling you, this is the way to do it, guys. To give you a little better idea what I did here, let me get that piece of flat stock. I had it right here like this, wedged in there, and you can see it's kind of sitting level now where that wheel hub assembly sits. So all you have is this, you just have this little shoulder to work with. There's not a whole lot back here. You got quite a bit here. I actually really didn't even pay attention to that. I was pushing right about here. I probably should have rotated it, pushed here, that would be better. So right in between these 2 bolts, try and keep that in mind. You don't have to worry about this. You can see that it's completely out of the way. It's sitting back. That's your wheel speed sensor. And here's where it picks up on these little segments. There's a little magnetic strip on the back. But yeah, that's how you do it. this is, like I said, I guess this is a 3/16 piece of steel. It sets just about perfect. You can see it sets about flush to the surface of that. Use that suspension bolt. You can use the nut. Like I said, I had it here somewhere. The one, if you, oh, here it is. If you wanted to grind that shoulder down, it just didn't want to set on there with that shoulder. So hopefully that'll work for you guys. I don't know how many different years or even makes that Chevrolet had this aluminum housing, but even the ones that are steel, you still get this problem where they're just really hard to take out. Now, I know that looked pretty easy. I did have to go, I don't know, maybe about 2 or 3 full turns to get it to where I was, and it took quite a bit with the impact. I had to hit it pretty hard, but it finally broke it loose, and that's where I started filming for you guys so you can see it. So it did come out quite a bit easier, that last part when I was filming. So that's how you do it, and I would say definitely get this cleaned up. You can even put some grease in there when you put the new wheel hub assembly in, so if you have to change it again, you won't have that issue. But I would say if you messaged me and said, hey, I got such and such car, will it work? I really couldn't tell you. I don't work on these things all the time, but this is what I found to be very helpful to get this off. Hopefully this will help somebody. You can see this was quite a bit of pressure. Look what that bolt did to that piece of steel. So you can tell it was really stuck. Now that would have been a headache trying to do that with a slide hammer or an impact chisel, trying to get back behind here. As a matter of fact, let me see something here. Probably didn't even damage this. I don't think I did. So here's the back side of it, and I was pushing right here, so it didn't even damage it. So that's a win. All right, guys. So sorry if you're kind of wondering what other vehicles this might work with. I just wouldn't know, but hopefully this will help someone out. All right, guys. Have a good one.